In the final of the 1997 Dr. Martens European Snooker League, it's Stephen Hendry against Ronnie O'Sullivan. This is the first time that O'Sullivan has made it to the Dr. Martens final. Stephen Hendry, by contrast, has won this title 4 times in the past 10 years. Stephen Hendry's won 6 world titles and is ranked #1 in the world. This season, he's suffered just 1 defeat in the league at the hands of fellow Scot John Higgins, cruised through his semi-final against holder Ken Darty. Now he's up against O'Sullivan, who staggered fans and fellow pros with his ambidextrous play. Will that upset Hendry?
Not at all. No, I only wish I could do it. I think it's a fantastic talent to have, and if I was him, I would use it more often.
Is it something you've tried yourself in practice?
I'm absolutely useless. It's, no, I can play left-handed, but as I say, there's lots of shots where Ronnie uses a rest, where he could easily use his left hand, and you know, as I said, if I had the talent, I would do it. It's fantastic.
Ronnie O'Sullivan certainly justifies his nickname of the Rocket. He's the fastest player on the circuit, as he proved with his 5 minutes 1:47 break at the Crucible. His only defeat in the preliminaries was by Hendry himself, and he beat Ebden in the semis. But it's his ability to play either left or right-handed that is extra special.
I haven't had really enough practice to master it as well as I'd like to, but I feel okay, you know what I mean, amongst the balls. I feel you know, nice and comfortable, but some shots I'm a little bit struggling with, so I'll play what shots I feel I can play left-handed, and some that I play right-handed. Whatever I feel like doing, I'll do.
What's the advantage to you? What's the big advantage it gives you?
I don't know, I just feel more, you know, comfortable, and certain shots are easier, and I find I can get, you know, more reaction, and, you know, the angles I see are different, and, you know what I mean, if you can experiment in your game and sort of like broaden, you know, rather than just being limited to playing right-handed, if I can do both, you know what I mean, it means, like, you know, like some of the rest shots and some of the shots where I'm stretching right-handed, you know, I'm not stretching left-handed.
As ever, we're at the Diamond Centre, Rushton and Diamonds Football Club, and your master of ceremonies is, of course, Alan Hughes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first session in the final of this year's Dr. Martens European Snooker League. Will you welcome, please, the man in charge of the final, international referee John Williams. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to the players. And first we welcome the most explosive young superstar the game has ever produced. Ambidextrous, unbelievable, and totally unpredictable. He's like a breath of fresh air to this popular sport. And the Essex Exocet comes into today's final as the reigning Asian Classic and German Open champion. Ladies and gentlemen, 21 years of age, it's the Rocket himself, Ronnie. Dominated the game for the past 7 years and reached the heights no other man has ever achieved, making him the greatest player the game has ever seen. And his record, he's going for a 5th European League title. Ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome into the arena the world #1, the 6 times Embassy World Champion, the brilliant Stephen Hendry.
Final, Mark Johnston-Allen and Mark Wildman.
So we're at the start of the very last match of the 1997 Dr. Martens European Snooker League. It's Stephen Hendry playing against Ronnie O'Sullivan. At the moment they're posing for photographs.
First break, Ronnie O'Sullivan break.
O'Sullivan to break off, deciding to adopt the left-handed mode. It's best of 19. I'm accompanied by Mark Johnston-Allen in the box, who was actually with me when we watched Ronnie O'Sullivan beat Peter Ebden 6-2, where perhaps 80% of his play, Mark, was by the left-handed mode, yeah? Wasn't he impressive?
He was extremely impressive, Mark, and I think that was a question on everybody's lips here this afternoon as to whether Ronnie O'Sullivan would be adopting the same style in this match against Stephen Hendry.
1.
It has to be said, even though Ronnie O'Sullivan beat Peter Ebdon left-handed in that semi-final, it wasn't a very impressive performance from Peter. He was out of sorts that day. Highest break, only 33.
Hendry, winner 4 times previously, 91, 92, 94 and 95. And actually knocked out the defending title holder, Ken Doherty, by 6 frames to 3 in the semi-final. And that would have proved rather sweet for him to taste after losing to Doherty in the World Championship final.
Well, Stephen Hendry's certainly holding the upper hand between these two players at the moment. They've played 5 times. Stephen Hendry has won 3 of those encounters.
17.
And the 2 times that they've played this year, they've had 1 draw and a 6-2 win for Stephen Hendry.
24.
This is an impressive start from Stephen Hendry. He really does have this uncanny ability to get straight into a match. Doesn't need any time whatsoever to settle down. So many times you see him in the opening frames of matches knocking centuries.
32.
I'm sure it's a case if he just tries to stamp his authority on the match and on his opponent very early on.
33.
Straight back, a little bit of left-hand side to come back off that cushion. Straight onto that red.
40.
And the perfect angle just to stun it and leave the angle to knock the black in and go into 41. The reds. May have one in the middle. Looks as though he's a bit close. May have one into the corner, 48. But much too close. So this is the ball arcing off that top cushion, as it always does, and just caught the reds a little bit too full. Half a ball on the outside of that group would have been better.
Stephen Hendry, 48.
Unlucky, really. And the captain's good. From the first scoring visit of the match, 48 points in the lead.
1.
Here he goes. I was talking to him before the match. I'm absolutely amazed as to how Ronnie O'Sullivan can start playing left-handed 2 weeks before he played like he did in the semi-final.
5.
And I suspected he was probably naturally ambidextrous, and he's admitted it. He must be the only player in the game that is.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 10.
I'm not so sure that Stephen Hendry can hit these reds without putting side on. And just swerve around the yellow. Very deft cueing. Beautiful shot. not a particularly good safety shot from Ronnie O'Sullivan, and the kiss on the brown could have proved expensive. But the red that Stephen Hendry would have taken on is hampered, the cueing, by the brown ball.
Not a great safety shot from Stephen Hendry there. I'm sure there's a choice of shots here from Ronnie O'Sullivan. The red into the centre, or possibly a red into the left corner pocket.
One.
There must be a psychological twist, you know, Mark, to this left-handed and right-handed as you like it attitude of Ronnie O'Sullivan. When he plays left-handed and they go in, fine, but if he gets a slightly more difficult one, he'll tend to play it right-handed because he will feel just that little bit more equipped to take it on. Gives him a type of psychological boost. How about that?
Well, that's right, Mark. Twice in this opening frame, Ronnie's been faced with slightly awkward opening reds. He's played both of those right-handed, but when he's in amongst the balls,
30.
he reverts to his left hand.
40.
No, he might
21.
play right now. No, he's okay.
22.
Well, I think Stephen Hendry's seen this for the very first time. Not a glimmer in Hendry's face. In fact, he's trying very hard not to give any signs away, I would imagine. He must be very impressed.
Well, he opened up with a break of 48. It could have proved to be a frame-winning break had the Reds split more successfully than they did. Well, he'll be relieved to get back to the table so quickly.
I don't know whether he completely messed that shot up, but he's landed the white at the balk end, the safety zone, which I think was his prime concern, really.
See yet again, Mike, the opening shot. Not completely confident playing left-handed, so he took that shot on right-handed.
This yellow goes in. Oh, he's controlled that. He's controlled that absolutely perfectly. With heavy right-hand side bottom to take the white right back on the line of the red from that balk cushion. That's not easy. So just this one ball now, and I think the frame will be his. That's a great shot as well.
4.
Full of confidence, absolutely brimful. And just a matter of knocking these colours in now, which I think, because he realises the importance of it, he's going to do right-handed just to make sure.
11.
Yes, that was interesting, because that was a natural left-handed shot he's just played.
40. 80.
So 10 in front, just needs the blue, and he can take this left-handed or right-handed, because he couldn't miss that one.
23.
So he's pulled this game back when all seemed lost. He gave Stephen Hendry 48 points start really there, because that was Hendry's first scoring visit. But in the end, it was O'Sullivan playing left-handed and right-handed who takes the Well, I would imagine that Stephen Hendry is rocked just a little bit by that performance, the mixed performance of the previous frame by Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yes, he'll certainly be disappointed that he didn't finish that frame off in one visit after starting in such positive fashion. Still has to be said, when he was in amongst the reds, he looked very good indeed.
Just have a look at the position of the pink and black as Hendry takes this blue. No big break on, it seems, at the start. Let's see if he can develop it.
Yeah, straight away
6.
trying to dislodge the red from the black spot and bring the black into play.
Yes, that was the key mark, playing for the red that was on the black spot. Not any one
7.
of those three.
He's just checking to see when potting this black into the left corner pocket whether the red will then go into the right corner pocket past the black. If not, he'll need to dislodge that.
$14. Stephen Hendry.
Oh dear,
14.
that's a bad mistake. Since the black actually can pot from the left-hand side, as you see it, there's the overcut on the red. I think O'Sullivan will go up for the blue or one of those bought colours. Won't try to go on the black, but the black is pottable from a finite position, which he's gone for.
1.
It goes from there.
There's another example of just how difficult it is to control the cue ball when the object ball's in the jaws of the pockets.
$6. 7.
Well, he won't be pleased with that shot. May just have the slightest of angles here on this blue. He's just checking to see if the red to the left of the black goes into the left corner pocket after potting this blue.
Now looking at the possibility of a plant. Right, so he's going for this red, just on it from there. A 45-degree
12.
angled approach here.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 12.
Didn't really expect Ronnie to miss this. From there he could have opened up the reds. Just a little bit now of tactical play. Hendry leaving that one short.
Well, not a great safety shot from Stephen Hendry. Hasn't put Ronnie O'Sullivan under any pressure here. There may just be a shot to nothing for Ronnie O'Sullivan here. Well, that was a fabulous shot from Ronnie. Good shot from Stephen Hendry, now forcing Ronnie O'Sullivan to play on the right-hand side of this pack. And you can see he doesn't like the choice of shots, so just nestling up to these two reds on the top cushion. If Stephen Hendry's thinking about taking this red on, it's an extremely risky shot to take.
He was going to cannon off the other red, trying to run through onto the black, I think, but that is so complicated and difficult at that distance. I don't think he's going to go for it, Mark, now. He's turned his back on it, really. Still may have a shot to nothing on Ronnie O'Sullivan. You can see an open red, looks like a half-ball pot into the corner. Should miss the black, I think. He doesn't like it. He could play the same shot that he played last time, but I think the pink in the middle, the green and middle pocket rather get in the way of the run up to these two reds, so he might in the end have to go for this pot. It's a real tough decision for him. He doesn't usually take this long, O'Sullivan.
Well, that's incredible. It's taken Ronnie O'Sullivan well over a minute to make his mind up over this shot. Usually it takes him about 13 seconds. It certainly wasn't the best of shots. Stephen Hendry can pop this red along the rail.
Well, that was an atrocious shot. I'm sure Ronnie will be angry with himself for playing that.
One.
It's been mentioned that it took him over a minute to make his mind up, and in the end he really chose the wrong one. There was a terrific opportunity. He was going to leave the red on if he found the cushion. And of course with the black open and everything, that will probably cost him the frame.
9.
Red on into the right-hand corner from the pack. That's the bottom left-hand corner of the pack. In fact, it doesn't have to do too much developing really from here.
16.
Sold himself short a little bit, actually.
Ronnie had a similar opportunity like this in the first frame when he managed to score 48. From Ronnie O'Sullivan went on and pinched that opening frame.
25.
Hasn't got quite as much work to do here in this situation, however. There's still a couple of loose reds available.
$32. 33.
This second frame seems to have turned on Hendry's decision to refuse
40.
a rather complicated and difficult red into the left-hand corner, but he played O'Sullivan safe. In trouble at the moment. Let's see what he does.
Well, I think he's played a very poor shot there, Mark. You can see the red he was intending to play on the left-hand side of that cluster is blocked by the pink, and that really is careless from Stephen Hendry. What a tremendous recovery shot. It's a cheeky little double from Stephen Hendry. Played it with an element of safety in mind, leaving the cue ball tight on that side cushion. You know, Mike, that's the difference for me, Stephen Hendry, to a lot of players. Around the 40-50 area of a break, he sometimes
47.
gets himself into trouble, but has this ability to get himself back out of it.
Yeah, the pink was a shot to nothing, but well spotted. He hadn't really left much on if the pink hadn't have dropped. And it's still going. And there's a red into the middle now. The break.
55.
.59 on the table and 57 in it, so this is the crucial red, and it goes. I was saying earlier that it all turned on the safety shot by Hendry, and then the bad shot that took Ronnie O'Sullivan well over a minute to decide on what to play. That was the turning point in this frame. There was only 2 points in it at that stage. There's the middle pocket plant. And here we are back live. Break on 71 then.
72.
Well, I have to say, Mark, he is cueing as well as I've ever seen him cue.
79. 80.
Even though Ronnie O'Sullivan won the first frame, he'll know from watching this performance
86.
from Stephen Hendry in the second that he's in for a tough match here today.
88.
So the bad safety shot was to cost him frame number 2 when he was in a good position.
91.
Must be a message there. Don't take a minute, Ronnie,
95.
when you normally take 10 seconds. Better make a mistake in 10 seconds. You get over it quicker as you sit down in your seat, letting your opponent knock the ball back. So there's the 100 break.
106. 113
And the black making the take clearance on 113, which is the 397th century of Stephen Hendry's professional career. Frame number 4. This is the frame before the mid-session interval. Best of 19 frames this match, first one to 10. Hendry leading 2-1. And I really think we're set for a cracking match. I think O'Sullivan's got an awful lot still up his sleeve. Right-handed shot.
The question is, Mark, which sleeve? Great opening red from Ronnie, but he'll realise that here's a replay of that shot to nothing. Well, that was an attacking shot from Ronnie. The option there just to roll up behind the green, but he thought to himself, this is a good chance. I know Stephen Hendry's playing well. I've got to try and keep him off the table.
6.
One thing for sure, Stephen Hendry's in fine form so far during this match. I'm not too sure about Ronnie O'Sullivan at the moment, however.
22.
You've noticed, of course, that O'Sullivan's playing right-handed now, and I think if he continues
29.
to play out this frame right-handed, that Stephen Hendry will claim a moral victory over his cup of tea. That'll teach him.
30.
Yes, has to be said, Matt, that Ronnie O'Sullivan's victory over Peter Ebdon in that semi-final, beating Peter 6-2,
35.
mainly left-handed, was impressive. On the other hand, Peter Ebdon didn't produce any form whatsoever. Ronnie O'Sullivan gave him quite a few chances. He was only able to score 33, and it's a little bit different here today. We know that Stephen Hendry, if he does get to the table, is likely to score heavily.
This is a tough one. Well, what a beautiful shot that was. I'm going to add, just to finish that little piece, Mark, that I think Peter was probably rightfully frustrated at his inability himself to turn it on a little bit, and of course it wouldn't have helped him that Ronnie was playing his first match left-handed and right-handed, you know, in a competitive match as a pro, so to speak.
39.
Show that.
Always the biggest shot of any break going into the pack of reds. Has turned out well for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
47.
Well, that red just wiped his feet a little bit. Still perfectly positioned on this blue. Break goes to 47.
Can you feel this match building up, Mark? It's a fantastic match already.
52.
Just after 4 frames, about the 4th about to finish, of course, in the next minute or two.
53.
A fantastic match. Both players looking as though they're playing well. It's all pregnant with possibilities. Could go all the way, this.
Yes, this is good stuff from Ronnie O'Sullivan. I wasn't too sure before the start of this frame
58.
how well he was playing. It's clear to see now that he is in fine form.
59.
I just wonder whether we're going to see a repeat of that tremendous final they had back in January, the Liverpool Victoria Challenge. Stephen Hendry at one stage led by 8 frames to 3 before Ronnie O'Sullivan put on a tremendous charge to level the match at 8 frames apiece, only for Stephen Hendry to knock in a maximum break in the deciding frame.
Crisis point here, 6-6 in front, 6-7 on the table, and can't find a red. Got himself out of position. Just needs 1 red. Hendry's playing well enough, of course. If you leave him a chance, he's likely to take the 67 points. So split them up a little bit, says Ronnie.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 16 points.
Splitting them up, he's brought one down to the middle pocket. It hasn't really made it any more difficult for Hendry not to clear them if he gets in. And here's a chance. Straight red into the corner.
1.
Oh, here he goes. Stephen Hendry then needs to pot all of these reds and blacks and the colours. And the way he's playing, he's got a chance.
Well, I think he's got more than a chance, Mark. It really would be a brave man to bet against Stephen Hendry. Clearing up here is an example of Stephen Hendry's near perfect cue action. Pause at the backswing, follow through, no body movement whatsoever. His last frame before the interval, Stephen Hendry leading 2 frames to 1. This should be a blow for Ronnie O'Sullivan to go in losing 3 frames to 1.
16.
The only straw that he can clutch at is that red near to the middle pocket. It shouldn't be, it won't really be too difficult to get onto it, but it's a judgment of pace to get onto the black afterwards that counts. Nothing difficult about any of this though, really. Gone straight down for it. He's got the perfect
24.
angle.
was a clever shot from Stephen. If he hadn't have had the perfect angle on that red into the centre pocket, he would have still had the other red into the corner pocket. How many times do you see him do this to his opponents?
32.
Once again, it was the last shot that Ronnie O'Sullivan played before he sat down. An almost destructive shot to at least put one red on in a difficult position, but he didn't. He left them all out in the middle of the table. Hendry pulled off a marvellous first pot to get on the black. And here we are, running out to the end. It looks as though he's going to do the business.
Oh, it's painful for Ronnie. Have to sit and watch this.
45.
A couple of moments ago, the frame was his. Now it's sure to be Stephen Hendry's.
49.
Blue, pink and black to win by 1.
54.
Well, what a fantastic frame of snooker of the highest quality. O'Sullivan goes off like a rocket with a break of 66. Oh, and here I am wrapping the frame up and he misses the black off the spot. I cannot believe it. He's just going to finish by saying, and we're seeing Hendry opening the final black to win by 1 with a 67 clearance. It didn't happen. Now, this is a bit like the World Championship black a few years ago. Dennis Taylor and Stephen Hendry to cut in. Oh, what a fantastic cut by Ronnie O'Sullivan. What a marvellous frame of snooker. Ronnie O'Sullivan then having a second bite of the cherry, taking frame number 4, 73-60 to go into the interval, equal at 2 frames all with Stephen.
Well, Ronnie O'Sullivan breaks off in this 7th frame. Unfortunately, once again playing left-handed, caught the blue. So first mistake in this frame to O'Sullivan, first chance to Hendry.
Well, we expected a humdinger between these two. Always closely contested affairs when they play. Living up to expectations. Not the best of fortunes there from Stephen Hendry. Good pot, achieved the kiss he wanted, but not quite right on the black. Well, there's an interesting statistic. Hendry 419 points in total, O'Sullivan just 239, and yet he's on level terms.
What a great shot. Stephen putting all his eggs in one basket there, as far as knowing that should he miss the black, it may cost him the frame. There's the overhead. He's playing that cannon as well, look, just to make sure he didn't lose the cue ball into baulk. But still another little delicate shot with the rest needing to be played, and it's gone astray.
9.
Not happy, so probably just to run up to the blue. Try and leave the cue ball tight on the top cushion.
Green ball.
Actually, he's probably playing the green to go in behind the blue. Oh, what a great shot. He's cueing very well today.
Stephen Hendry now.
He's certainly put an awful lot of practice, and I'm sure losing the world crown has made him knuckle down again and try and get a bit of practice. He got that revenge on Ken Doherty in the semi-final match, and I'm sure he'd like to give Ronnie O'Sullivan a beating, especially as he's taking the liberty of playing in both hands.
Well, I spoke to Stephen after the semi-finals, and he said he badly wants to win this. It would be his 65th tournament win worldwide, closing the gap all the time on Steve Davis, who heads the all-time list with 71 trophies.
Well, a lot of kisses there, all of them good. Sometimes whenever you kiss a baulk colour, you can rest assured that you're going to leave your opponent with an easy safety shot, but he got 2 kisses there. And the white has edged its way towards that bottom cushion. So those good kisses from O'Sullivan could have created an opening, but as it Hendry's turn to be fortunate with the safety. It is. Neither than pot, so just a safety coming up from O'Sullivan. Once again, Phil, there's the lacklustre attempt of the safety left-handed. Pot's brilliantly left-handed. Safety leaves a lot to be desired.
Excuse me. Can you stop doing that, please?
That old lady admonished in the front row. Don't know what she did wrong. Maybe she crunched a mint slightly too loudly.
Yeah, she was actually undoing a sweet, which obviously she probably didn't think Stephen Hendry could hear from that distance. Such is Hendry's concentration, though. He's picking up all sounds and obviously concentrating very, very hard, apart from when there's not complete silence.
8.
Actually, one member of the audience whispering is more off-putting sometimes than all members of the audience shouting quite loudly. It's just the isolated sounds that make that little irritation.
Try that is very unfortunate. The red actually rolled back into the black spot there. What a beautiful cue action Stephen Hendry has. Watch the backswing, taken almost to the limit, and then the follow through comes there. Beautiful to watch.
Stephen Hendry, 9.
Yes, the red over the middle pocket precluded Hendry from playing the conventional safety shot into baulk. Now, Willie, we could see some cat and mouse here.
Yes, with these two players, though, Phil, I don't think it'll last very long. I would imagine one of them will attempt a long pot as soon as it's possible. Obviously, as soon as one of them can see the red that's up near the middle pocket, they'll be playing a safety shot off that.
Well, Hendry eyeing up the plant. This is dangerous.
1.
Now it could prove very useful indeed. Mind you, tough shot coming up. Cue ball quite close to the side cushion. This no gimme.
Yes, you wouldn't like to play these every day of the week for your life. But what a great pot. You'd like to have him playing them for you, though, Phil, wouldn't you? Probably the best in the world at the pressure shot. And that really was a pressure shot.
4.
And now that wonderful
5.
green into the middle pocket gives Stephen Hendry a chance of getting a sizable lead in this all-important 7th frame. They're all important when the standard of 2 players we've got on show here today. When you consider he was 3-2 behind, this is a great chance to go 4-3 in front.
12. $90. 20.
The black takes Hendry's lead to 45. a very promising position for him.
28.
Didn't quite play the cannon like that. He meant to get the cannon on the red a little bit fuller than that. It's turned out okay as far as the 3 reds are out into the open, but that cue ball very close to the side cushion, the middle pocket. This red's missable. Missable by a country mile. That was a tough shot.
Stephen Hendry, 35.
In fact, he's missed it by so much, Willie. He's left O'Sullivan nothing easy. Look at that, didn't even threaten the jaws.
Well, it's O'Sullivan's turn to put the pressure ball. What a great pot that was. Could he pinch the frame? That's a good kiss, because I think he hit the cue ball a little bit too hard. So 1 good pot required.
4.
Now back in good position. Played the last 3 shots all right-handed. Will he change to left now?
Ten. 11.
In semi-final and final, we've never seen him play as many shots right-handed before. This is the 5th on the trot.
I think he's doing the right thing, Willie.
18.
He's identified this as a crunch moment.
19.
Of course, he plays tremendously left-handed, but much better right.
26. 27.
Steve Davis always said that Ronnie O'Sullivan is the perfect snooker player, the Rolls-Royce cue action, very, very quick brain, very, very good break builder. As yet doesn't quite have the temperament of a Stephen Hendry. Probably may never have, but
34.
An absolute abundance of talent.
Well, he didn't play for the red into the ball pocket. If it goes, he's fortunate. Maybe just enough room to squeeze it past brown and green.
35.
Oh, brilliant shot. He was a little fortunate that it did pot, but it's now given him a great chance to pinch this frame. Blue to pink going to be the problem, though.
39. 41.
Won the first frame, O'Sullivan, from 48-0 down. He also won the 4th frame on the final black when Hendry made a terrible mistake.
44.
I just wonder whether this is going to be another smash and grab raid.
That is certainly going to be the telling shot. If he's got any sort of angle on the blue, he's done very well.
53.
Well, that's just about as good as he could have got, I think, from there. Big shot, this one, though. If he gets it, he wins.
59.
Well, this is a superb finish from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
66.
Yes, he trailed by 53 points, but a 66 clearance compiled exclusively with his right hand. And Ronnie O'Sullivan once more takes a 1-frame lead. O'Sullivan 4, Hendry 3. Frame 8 of this Dr. Martens European League final gets underway. Hendry breaking off, badly wanting to avoid a 2-frame deficit. He's trailed 1-0, 3-2, and now 4-3.
Yes, and just a few moments ago it looked almost guaranteed that Stephen Hendry was going to take that 4-3 lead. Certainly been the more fluent break builder as Stephen Hendry in this match so far. Well, Stephen Hendry has made the only century of the match this far. And what a great shot that was, using the pink to screw back. There we are, 3 breaks over 30, 1 over 50, 2 over 60, and that magnificent 113. I'm sure we're going to have another century in this match. They both seem to be queuing very well.
6. Seven.
In contrast, of course, look at that. Ronnie O'Sullivan only 2 breaks over 60, 1 over 50, but in contrast leads 4 frames to 3. So he's done all the muddling sort of work, the little 30s and 20s when needed, just to get that sizable lead. Pinched that last frame, of course, with the highest break of the match for him so far. So Hendry looking the more fluent,
40.
O'Sullivan the more steady.
15.
Shades of the last final Hendry played in. That was up at the Crucible, of course. He made 5 century breaks and lost 18-12 to Ken Doherty.
It's so nice to see this table running perfectly.
22.
A little bit of trouble in the early rounds, but change of cloth and that, and it's now running
23.
absolutely perfectly for professional snooker.
Hendry trying to avoid an unwanted first here today. He's
30.
appeared in 82 finals and has converted those appearances into 64 titles. But he's never
31.
lost 3 finals on the trot. If O'Sullivan were to win this, that wouldn't be the case. British Open, early April, he was beaten, trounced by Mark Williams, 9 frames to 2.
38.
Then, of course, the Crucible final I've mentioned against Ken Doherty. Now this.
39.
9 frames to be played in this first session of the final. 2 sessions, best of 19. So this is a really important frame for Stephen Hendry. Whatever happens, he doesn't want to be more than 1 frame behind going into tonight's session.
47.
Well, this might be a little bit premature, Willie, but this has got century break written all over it.
Not the best kiss in the world,
52.
but that's one in, I think, in the middle. Half a chance in the top right-hand corner pocket. You can use the other red to possibly run through and leave the half ball black. It's actually going away from the black a little bit here. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Mine's actually played it quite well. Knocked a red towards the side cushion though, but it won't need that should he go on to win the frame. 3 more reds. 2 more reds will be enough. Didn't want that kiss, but it still has choice
60.
of reds into either middle pocket. Certainly seems to be scoring really well. He actually looked in a lot better form to me than he was in the World Championship whole tournament, really. Obviously, as you
61.
mentioned, made 5 century breaks in the final, but I didn't think it was a vintage Hendry performance. Looks a lot sharper in this tournament.
No, I think he was a victim of his own success, you know, at the Crucible. I think he arrived there mentally jaded. Remember, he's already won 5 tournaments this season.
67.
And since he was beaten in the first round of the Grand Prix, Willie, he's played in 13 tournaments and appeared in at least the quarterfinals of every single one of them.
72.
Yes, not a bad player, this lad. Possibly the best we've ever seen.
73.
I think there was one word redundant in that sentence, Willie. Possibly. I think he is, without any shadow of doubt.
80. 81.
Just another 19 points required to make his 2nd century break of this final, but the work will start from here.
86. 87.
Stephen will probably try and move the red off the side cushion, but in such a way that he'll be on the other red as well at the same time. He's played for the loose red.
91.
Well, intense concentration on both players and audience.
92.
They must appreciate the fact that they're watching two of the greatest players of all time in combat at the same time. So the kiss, just about perfect angle. What a lovely effort. Unlucky. Unlucky. The break goes to 99.
99.
What a little sickener for the audience should he not pop this.
Well, he made a 99 break in beating Ken Doherty in the semi-finals. Has a run of 99 here, gets him back onto level terms. Very impressive, Stephen Hendry. It's now 4 frames each.
Final 3 with this session, Ronnie O'Sullivan to Rick.
Never more than 1 frame in it. Right now, tied scores. O'Sullivan led 1-0. Hendry went 2-1 ahead. O'Sullivan then moved into a 3-2 advantage, which became 4-3. And look at that. 8 frames in 74 minutes. An average of less than 10 minutes a frame.
I'm not sure whether the audience should ask for their money back. They usually sit there for 3 or 4 hours when I'm playing. Far too quick.
They used to bring a change of socks when Cliff Thorburn was playing.
1.
Great putt from O'Sullivan. They really are firing on all cylinders, these two. Oh, we have really been treated to a wonderful session of snooker. Both players have had frames pinched from them.
8.
Hendry by missing a very easy black. O'Sullivan went on to win it.
9.
And O'Sullivan, of course, pinched that frame from Stephen Hendry to take a 3-2 lead when all looked lost. Fantastic session of snooker. Is it O'Sullivan's turn for a century?
16.
It's very interesting, you know, Willie, that he's played
17.
quite a few bad shots left-handed, now reverting to his natural style.
Did actually break off left-handed, but he knows this is a real frame-winning chance. Even a slight chance for a 147, dare I say.
25. 32. 33.
Well, Ronnie has a nice, well, perhaps not a nice angle. I thought he'd got an angle just to sun up into the pack to be on that loose red, but he hasn't, so just a screw back for that loose red. Didn't really get into the cue ball there, so not the ideal angle on the red. I wonder if he's going to be tempted to play the one in straight into the yellow pocket. Stop it dead, leave the half ball angle on the black, pop the black, go into the pack. It all sounds very straightforward, doesn't it? But no, he's playing to win the frame. He knows how important this is. Playing up for the blue, so maximum has disappeared. Much to the disappointment of yours truly. It would have been nice to christen this session with a 147.
Of course, the last time these two played in a final was one in the deciding frame. Hendry made it to win 9-8 in the Liverpool Victoria Charity Challenge.
47. Yes.
Well, referee John Williams and Ronnie O'Sullivan have a little conversation there. There must be actually a burn mark on the black. That's what happens sometimes when you get a kick. You get actually marks on both balls, and of course you almost have to scrape them off with your fingernail, such as the explosion it causes sometimes on a kick.
60.
Well, Ronnie making sure now that he must finish top side of the blue and then play the cannon 61. Into the pink full ball. There's the angle. So full ball contact required on the pink. And he's playing this shot left-handed for the first time in this break. Well, he's going to be happy with that. Didn't play it anything like that. Played to finish
66.
in the middle of the table, hitting the pink full ball. Very close
67.
to the winning post. Just this black required.
Well, another very swift conclusion to a frame. Just one chance snooker at the moment.
Back to the left-handed. It's quite amazing, isn't it? Left-handed, right-handed, they're all
82.
the same. Break goes to 82.
83.
Can only actually tie the high break now, should he get 3 reds and 3 blacks. Oh, not quite, that's 139, isn't it? So 141 is the highest, so high break out of the window, but good chance for century.
89. 96.
I know that Ronnie O'Sullivan has never made a century break left-handed in tournament play. He's actually tried to finish this break off left-handed, even though I must say that 50 or so points have been played right-handed.
104.
But all the same, we can actually say he's made 100 break left-handed, can't we? Such has been the strength of the break.
105.
No total clearance, but more than sufficient to win the frame with a 105 break. Just one scoring visit required. Ending the session, Ronnie O'Sullivan leads by 5 frames to 4. A classic encounter as so.
As we join frame 12 for the Dr. Martens European Snooker League final.
Frame 12. Stephen Hendry to break.
Stephen Hendry finds himself in the familiar position of being 1 frame behind. He trailed 1-0, 3-2, 4-3 and 5-4. Now it's 6-5 and we're getting to the business end of the match. Wide opening red from O'Sullivan.
Wow. It's amazing when you play shot to nothing sometimes. That he's playing this left-handed look as well. And he's played a shot to nothing, and it invariably happens when you play a shot to nothing. Your cue ball finishes smack on the cushion. Now, people at home may think that Ronnie O'Sullivan played to pot that yellow. I can assure you he played exactly what he's got. He played the safety shot to open the pack. What he tried to do, of course, was get the cue ball tight on the baulk cushion, but unfortunately he's just gone a little astray, and Hendry could really put him in trouble here with a good safety. It was a clever attacking shot from Stephen Hendry, sorry, from Ronnie O'Sullivan, and as it forced the opening, I think there's a gap.
Yeah, slightly awkward queuing, but no real problem, it should be.
1. Six. 7.
He really is a great sportsman, is Ronnie O'Sullivan. He was telling me at the interval in this match that he's taking part in a triathlon in a couple of months' time. That's something like a 4-mile run, a 2-mile swim, and something like a 10-mile bike ride or something. Goodness me, I think I might be okay on the bike.
15.
Very, very fit. His manager and promoter of this event, Barry Hearn, who actually runs the Leighton Orient Football Club, where Ronnie O'Sullivan actually trains now and again with the Leighton Orient side. That's Barry Owen in the background there, entrepreneur.
Unfortunately, though, on his last visit to the table, he scored an own goal, missing that blue. Hendry's in with a chance of a net buster.
I must apologise to viewers at home. It does get worse, my co-commentator, but
7.
Back to the serious stuff. This is actually a really good chance for Stephen Hendry here.
8.
I'd hate to think if he went 2 behind with O'Sullivan playing as well as he is, whether he could get back into this match. So once again, important point in the match this. It's only first to 10, of course.
10.
7-5 behind if he lost this frame. It'd be a mountain to climb.
11.
This match going on a similar path to the second round in the World Championship when Hendry played Mark Williams in the early stages of that best of 25 frame affair. He was always playing catch-up. At the end of the second session, he somehow hauled his way back to 8 frames each and then pulled away to win 13-8.
19.
Similarly here, O'Sullivan just can't quite shake him off.
25.
Break goes to 25, the lead to 9 points. So still a lot of work to do should he win the frame at this visit.
26.
Yes, once again, the art of break building, playing for the choice of 2 or 3 reds at a time. If he underscrewed it, he was on the 2 reds just below him. If he overscrewed it like he has now, he's on the one at the bottom of the pack.
34.
If people get a video of one of Hendry's century breaks, you'll see him do that an awful lot of times, play for the choice of 2 or 3 reds rather than just the one loose one. That's what he's actually played for there again. You see the choice of those 2 reds.
41.
Without doubt the game's greatest break builder of all time. Bordering on the 400 centuries now. I think he's got something like 397 in tournament play. He's already had 1 in this match. And when you consider there's only 10 players in the world has had over 100 century breaks, to think that he's almost quadrupled that is just quite amazing.
You've got to think Ronnie O'Sullivan will be the only player who could possibly challenge Hendry's figure. Next on the all-time list, Steve Davis with 256. So as it stands, Hendry 141 centuries ahead of the competition.
Once again, playing for the choice of 2 reds. Excellent positional shot.
56.
Break goes to 56. The lead to 40, so just red and colour required to claw back to 6 each once more to get level on level
57.
terms. And now can we see a century? The frame safe.
63. 64.
Well, all pinks and blacks, of course, apart from that early yellow, which he took off the second red. So it's
70.
5 pinks, 4 blacks, and the 1 yellow. So any colour, you can get the century. Of course, the problem ball is going to be blue to pink once again.
71. $77. 79.
Slightly overscrewed that.
82.
prime position immediately retrieved.
And the only hard part here, must make sure he's not straight on the blue. Any sort of angle would be perfect, just the one cushion. Little trace of side just to bring the cue ball out for the pink.
91.
And I think we're going to have century 398 for Stephen Hendry.
97. 104.
Yes, 398 recorded by Stephen Hendry. His 49th century break this season alone gets back on level terms once. The burning question as frame 13 begins. Will O'Sullivan regain the initiative, or will Hendry power on? Well, the first indication, O'Sullivan in the driver's seat. Hendry snookered immediately.
Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan 6.
Referee John Williams, of course, calling a miss there, even though he did come very, very close to the Reds. But as it's touching ball, Ronnie may feel that he can get Hendry in more trouble by forcing him to play a safety shot from tight on the cushion rather than putting the cue ball back. So in this situation, you see, if that's tight on the cushion now, Ronnie's almost better off Hendry being able to see a red rather than not see a red. I know that sounds a little bit double Dutch, but it means you've got a better chance of getting an opening from a safety shot than you have from a snooker, because all that Stephen Hendry would do would just keep rolling into the pack. Oh, the table looks very true. Excellent shot. Just rolled off about 2 inches, that one.
One.
Well, left-handed into the pack. This is dangerous. Yeah, real dangerous, wasn't it? Went in clean as a whistle. And finished, I think, perfectly. I'm not sure. Yeah, she's not really on anything perfectly, and the red he's going to attempt is going to have to negotiate the cannon onto the red, and he's going to have to rely a little bit on luck to whether he gets on the black or not, because he's going to have the cannon from red to red, red onto black, and hopefully leave the black over the corner pocket. Yeah, that was his problem. Always going to be a problem.
Well, he wouldn't have minded half as much had he at least potted the red. Look at this. Just grazes that near jaw, out it stays.
One. Eight.
Well, that's amazing, isn't it? We're in frame 13, and we're yet to get to the 2 hours playing time in this match. They're both playing very, very fluently indeed. 106 minutes, 6 frames all, breaks of 40 or above in nearly every single frame, snooker of the highest quality. And in the final of one of our major championships as well.
16.
Every credit to both players.
Yes, that averages out to just under 9 minutes a frame. We talk a lot about the quality of top-class snooker having improved out of all proportion in the last few years.
17.
That also applies to the speed the game's played at.
And that picture tells a story, doesn't it, as far as Stephen Hendry is concerned. And when we have a chance to look at O'Sullivan's in a moment, look at Hendry's had 2 centuries on 80, 2 60s, 150 and 4 over 30. Now when we get a chance to look at Ronnie O'Sullivan's, you'll see that Ronnie's not scored quite as fluently. Look at that, just 1 century, 2 over 60, 150 and 130. But what he has been doing is clinching the frames with frame-winning 20s and 30s 23. Just at the right time. So Hendry's certainly been the more dominant in the break-building department, but it's still 6-all.
24.
Yes, as you say, frame 13, Willie, and we've only had 3 decided on the colours. O'Sullivan's won them all. The first on the blue, the 4th when Hendry missed a very easy black to pinch it, and also the 7th with a 66 clearance.
31.
Once again, another 30-plus break from Stephen Hendry. I want to imagine quite a few more to come. Big frame for Stephen Hendry, would obviously an interval after 4 frames of play, so to come out in front after coming in 1 frame behind, he'll be delighted.
32.
It means he would have won this first session 3-1, and that puts him in the driving seat.
$39. 40.
It really is amazing to think we're virtually at the close in our snooker season. Both these players have been on the go since virtually September last year, and to think they can produce quality snooker like this is quite
47.
amazing.
Yes, it seems like an awfully long time since Ronnie O'Sullivan won the first tournament of this 96-97 season, beating Brian Morgan 9-8 in the final of the Asian Classic in Bangkok.
$48.
It's been an absolutely tremendous campaign. I've had the privilege of being at every tournament apart from the Benson Hedges Irish Masters. Good stories on and off the table. And the standard just keeps improving all the time.
55.
Well, that one's not gone exactly where he wanted it to, and he only leads by some 41 points, so a lot of work to do yet. He may risk the double here. He can only leave the 1 red on. Well, brilliant, brilliant. He could only leave that red on just to the right of the pink, and he thought it was worth the risk, because that's probably the red now that Stephen Hendry may have to play on. Oh, he's played into them. Has he got into that cue ball enough, though? Well, that's a great shot.
63.
Unfortunate not to have an easier red than this. He really did get into that cue ball very well. Look at this for a shot. Dead weight into the middle, but he's now facing another tricky red. This time going to have to roll it in.
64.
Now, has he got on the pink? I think he has. He's rushed round the table. I think he's played that perfectly. No, he's not. So, a slightly trickier black. Can play this almost as a shot to nothing if he drags it in slow with side, leave the black on the pocket should he miss it. That's why he's played it that pace, you see. If it jawed, he would have covered the pocket for this red he's on now. So that's good thinking
71.
from Stephen Hendry. The break goes to 71. The frame should now be over.
72.
Can we have yet another Hendry century?
Hendry hasn't been in the lead since he held a 2-1 advantage much earlier today.
78.
Now 64 points ahead, only 59 on the table. Snooker's required by O'Sullivan.
79. $85. 86.
Well, could we see century number 399? If that is the case,
92.
Hendry will have arrived at a personal milestone. It would be his 50th century break of the season, and it would be the 3rd time he's achieved that mark. Of course, no one else has come close.
99.
No one else has made 40 in a season, let alone 50.
Oh, what a shame. 90, that's twice on 99.
Yes, and of course, one against Ken Doherty in the semi-final as well. No century, but Stephen Hendry gets the lead. He led 2-1, hasn't been in front since, but now he's...
Snooker League, O'Sullivan just ahead, 8 frames to 7.
16th frame. Stephen Hendry to break.
So now it's getting a bit serious. Ronnie O'Sullivan requiring 2 frames now as Stephen Hendry breaks off. Got the white right, but he's left a red into the side pocket. Stephen not very happy at the moment. He might be happier. No, he won't be. Could have been a kinder kiss for him. Might have a free pot here into the middle pocket. He'll go for it, provided he doesn't really leave a sitting red on.
Well, I just think that previous frame could be huge for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Up to that point, we hadn't had a fairly close frame for something like 7 frames. All the frames prior to that had been won by sizable breaks. It was interesting to note, in the latter stages of that frame, which incidentally was the longest frame of the match so far, still only 15 minutes, Stephen Hendry just looked to be getting a little bit edgy. Showed emotion a couple of times, which we don't usually see. Well, how about that for a reply? This is a wonderful piece of cueing from Stephen Hendry. Cue ball tight on the side cushion, covering 10 foot of table, perfectly positioned on a bolt cover. Well, he's elected to play the more aggressive shot, going into the pack of reds, but I don't know whether he's got a red available here.
Nine.
Well, he's got a little problem here. Just got to be certain what he's doing next. Stun run through. Yeah, that's okay. I think he would have liked to have been on the other red, because that would have enabled one more red to go.
You can see from that overhead camera shot just how much side Stephen Hendry had on the cue ball there to hold for position on the black. This time forced to go back up for the blue.
24.
Just about the right side. Should have an angle to come back down towards the reds.
29.
Get another one out here, perhaps.
30.
Well, he certainly will here. He has to if he's going to continue the break. Yeah, that's okay. Just takes a little bit of care over this one. Good shot. 38 in front, and really within a few minutes it should be all square in the mat again at 8 frames all. Can't see him making a mistake here.
45. 46.
This really has been an incredible match. There's never been more than one frame between these two players throughout. And just when you think one of the players is just starting to get in control a little bit, the other replies. This time it's Stephen Hendry's turn to reply, currently on the break of 49. Quite a few bolt colours amongst that break.
$51. $52.
He could go into these reds here. It's always a bit of a gamble as to what's going to happen, as there. Right, and he's missed it just at the wrong time. I think he's out of position.
Just didn't seem to go into that cluster with enough conviction. There was that loose red available into the left corner pocket, but elected to play the more attacking shot, but I don't feel that he played it attacking enough.
Yeah, good spot, Mark. I think that he wasn't too sure that he shouldn't be playing for that loose red. Yeah, I spotted that. The commitment on the shot didn't seem to be there.
Stephen Hendry, 57.
So he can still be overtaken in this frame. 5 reds left, 67 points, and he's 57 points in the lead. Well, that's a good shot.
Well, that's quite poor from both players, considering the standard of snooker they've produced throughout this final. I was expecting their success rate on the safety department to be slightly higher than that. But there's another example there from Stephen Hendry. He's just trying to clip this red fine, send the cue ball back to the bulkhead of the table, but actually won't be too disappointed with the outcome of that shot. May have left Ronnie O'Sullivan a shot to nothing to this left corner pocket. When playing those shots, you need to make sure of the cue ball. Ronnie was intending to send that white back into the bulkhead of the table.
He's still not home and dry, although he's knocked a red in, which is worth 8 to Ronnie O'Sullivan, who's behind and being squeezed. It still isn't enough to guarantee him this frame. Just looking a little bit unsure of himself at the moment. Not quite the positive Stephen Hendry looked before the interval.
No, mate, but he knows just how important this frame is. If he was to go 9-7 down to Ronnie O'Sullivan, with Ronnie just requiring one more frame, you'd have to put Ronnie a strong favourite. But 8 frames apiece, it boils down to a straight best of 3.
Stephen Hendry, 1.
He's tried to put the black into a relatively safe position, but if Ronnie O'Sullivan was to pot a red and get behind the pink and black, I couldn't see either of those pots causing him too much of a problem. Now, has Ronnie covered the red in the middle of the table? Yes, he's forced Stephen to play the more awkward reds on the top cushion. And he can actually hit that red, but if he was to clip it, he'd be cannoning into these 3 reds. Ideally, Stephen would be quite happy to keep these 3 reds on the top cushion. That's the last thing Stephen Hendry wanted to do there. May have been slightly fortunate, however. If Ronnie O'Sullivan hasn't got an angle on this red, there would be no value in him potting it whatsoever. Now you see he's taking the more difficult option.
Well, what a valuable pot that was. 53 points. Could afford to take the blue. But right, now he's got a chance. Got a fabulous chance now.
7.
So, 47 points, the difference. And 51 points on the table. So he's got a margin of 4 points. So he could afford really to take a couple of pinks, 3 pinks. If he takes 4 pinks,
8.
then he can only tie.
40. 15.
Well, that's why Ronnie O'Sullivan played the more aggressive shot at the start of this break, refusing the easier blue to take the more difficult pink. Just needs to take a pink with this last red.
22.
Give himself a chance of clearing up the colours and winning this frame.
Oh yes, Mark, I got my calculations wrong earlier. So he can win now by
30.
1 point. And suddenly he's turned around and played it left-handed. Back to right. Have to be careful there. Well, what an important frame. And this is down to Stephen Hendry playing a couple of shots of questionable value, actually. One was knocking the black safe.
37.
Probably could have done a little bit better there. It wasn't safe. He still left the pink on. He tried to knock black onto pink to put both major colours out.
42.
But O'Sullivan based this clearance so far on the pink. So that didn't work. And then the bad safety shot that enabled O'Sullivan to get to the table on this visit. So this one then, this
48.
black for a terrific turnaround in this frame. Not easy. And it goes. That's important one for Ronnie O'Sullivan. He takes frame number 16 then. What a cracking frame of snooker. 59 to 58 with that clearance. Ronnie O'Sullivan goes into the lead now.
Final, O'Sullivan leading by 9 frames to 8.
18th frame. Stephen Hendry to break.
So the 18th frame, and we're back to the mean difference that has been going all the way through this match, except for a period when there was a 2-frame difference. It's now just 1 frame, and it's Ronnie O'Sullivan in the lead, wanting just this frame, or just one of the last 2, to take the trophy and the cheque of £60,000.
Well, I don't know about you, Mark, but I would dearly love to see this match go to the deciding frame. It would be a fitting end to what has been a wonderful tournament this year. And it has to be said, a wonderful final. Two hottest properties in snooker, Stephen Hendry and Ronnie O'Sullivan, really have put on a tremendous exhibition of snooker. That was a good shot from Stephen Hendry. If Ronnie O'Sullivan decides to play the left-hand side of the pack of reds, he's going to have to be very careful to avoid that red on the top cushion.
Foul and a miss.
Well, he knew there was a chance of missing it because he got John Williams to mark precisely where he was aiming from.
Yeah.
Because he's going to put it back in the same spot. Play again, says Stephen Hendry.
And this is when a referee's judgment and a player's judgment is critical. I'm sure that Ronnie O'Sullivan can only see the slightest of that red to the right of the pack.
I think he's tucked left-handed Ronnie up to bed for the night. There's a left-handed shot. We wanted to play one, taking the rest. I think that's play left-handed, play right-handed, is taking second priority now as the match nears its end. Look at that for a fantastic shot. Now that could be the shot that wins him this championship, and Stephen Hendry puts his cue out of the way as though he's going to settle down for a long rest.
Yes, that wonderful Dr. Martens trophy is saying to Ronnie O'Sullivan, come and get me.
8.
Ronnie O'Sullivan's at the table, he's in control. It is purely down to him now.
$15.
Going back for the blue.
16.
Probably be one of the balk colours, but he has got to get back onto a red nicely. It's a little bit complicated at the top here. I don't think the black goes into the right-hand pocket. And it's very awkward into the left-hand pocket as well.
$90.
He has to be very careful, Ronnie O'Sullivan. That previous shot
20.
could very easily have got him into trouble. Also take a leaf out of Stephen Hendry's book. You watch Stephen Hendry when he's making a break, he keeps things ever so simple.
25. 26.
Well, it's beginning to get a little bit more simple now. Play on the pink into the
32.
middle pocket again if he wishes. In fact, both of the middle pockets now. But it's going to be the blue.
33.
It's okay as long as it gets the right side of it.
$38. 39. 45.
Ooh, other way around all of a sudden.
46.
Well, it's funny, he's just let him down a little bit there. This pink is more difficult than he would have liked. Still causing no problems whatsoever.
$52. 53.
Well, you've got to give Ronnie O'Sullivan credit, as he appears to be making the final run-in.
59.
It was a phenomenal red that he knocked in, splitting the reds, getting himself on a colour, and this is the result of that very brave but very successful opening shot as he came to the table. The break on 60, and there are 5 reds left on the table, a total of 67. He needs 1 red only, can't miss this.
67.
And it now looks curtains for Stephen Hendry. Whoever would have thought that Stephen Hendry would play 3 finals at the end of the season and lose them all.
Well, I just wonder whether he's going to finish off with a century. He's added a new dimension to the game of snooker during this tournament. Played most of his semi-final match with Peter Ebdon left-handed.
90.
He's played quite a few shots during this final left-handed, it has to be said.
97.
Yeah, this has been one of the great finals. If the red drops,
90.
I'm sure that O'Sullivan's going to finish with another century break. He made 105 to win the 9th. There's 132 on here. No doubt in who the winner's going to be. Ronnie O'Sullivan's going to win this European League for the very first time. This is the 5th player to win it since its inception.
140.
Davis, Hendry, White, Darty, and now O'Sullivan.
190.
He's done it playing left-handed and right-handed. As Mark said, opened up a new dimension in the sport.
190.
Not going to bother about missing that pink. The two players shake hands. It's Ronnie O'Sullivan taking the 18th frame by 119 points to 4, knocking in that 119 break to win the match by 9 frames.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Beg your pardon, by 10 frames to 8.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is presentation time to our 2 winners. It's been a great final, fantastic season once again. And to the runner-up first, the cheque for £25,000 and our congratulations for a great league campaign goes to a brilliant young man, Stephen Hendry. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to the winner, a cheque for £60,000 and this beautiful trophy here that Barry is struggling to pick up. And, of course, the title of the 1997 Dr. Martens European League champion goes to Ronnie O'Sullivan.